Everything you've been taught about getting 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep is wrong. It's a modern myth. For thousands of years, your Roman ancestors knew a secret about sleep that we've completely forgotten, and it explains exactly why you find yourself wide awake at 3 in the morning. So what was the lost art of sleeping like a Roman? To understand how the Romans slept, you first have to understand their world. And their world was ruled by a single, undeniable force: the sun. The core reason their nights were different from ours wasn't culture, it was physics. The complete and total absence of cheap, powerful, artificial light. When the sun went down, Roman cities and farms didn't just get dim. They were plunged into a profound, suffocating darkness that we, in our modern, light-polluted world, can barely even imagine. The primary sources of light were feeble, flickering oil lamps and expensive candles. For the vast majority of people, when the light of the world died, their day ended with it. This natural ancient rhythm of light and dark didn't just shape their schedule, it shaped their very biology. For millennia, it programmed the human body to sleep in a way we've only recently abandoned. A Roman didn't go to bed hoping to sleep until dawn. That wasn't the goal. Instead, their night was broken into two distinct parts. Historians call it segmented or biphasic sleep. Around 9 p.m., they would retire for what they called Primus Somnus, the first sleep. They would sleep deeply for about 4 hours, until just after midnight, and then they would wake up. But this waking period wasn't considered a disorder. It wasn't insomnia. It was a normal, expected, and even productive part of the night. For 1 to 2 hours, in the absolute stillness and silence of the deep night, a second phase of life would begin. And what you did in this time depended entirely on who you were. For a poor farmer or a common plebeian, this was a time for quiet, practical work. Mending a tool, tending to a sick animal, preparing food for the next day. Small tasks that could be done with little light and in relative quiet, preserving expensive oil for the hours when it was truly needed. But for the elite, for scholars and philosophers, this waking period was the most precious time of all. The historian Pliny the Elder, the physician Galen, they wrote about this. This was the golden hour of the mind. The world was utterly silent. The distractions of the day were gone. The mind, fresh from the first sleep, was unusually clear and creative. This was when you would study, write letters, contemplate philosophy, or manage your complex household accounts. It was a period of profound, uninterrupted focus that our modern, notification-filled lives make almost impossible. This time was also deeply spiritual. It was a natural moment for prayer, meditation, and reflection, a practice that would later be formalized by Christian monasteries into their nocturnal vigils and prayers. It was a sacred window to connect with the divine. This pattern didn't just affect their work, it shaped their very perception of the night. The darkness wasn't a dead, empty space to be survived until morning. It was simply a different phase of life, with its own unique character. Medical texts from the era didn't pathologize this waking period. Instead, they offered advice on how to best use it, suggesting light intellectual activity or quiet conversation. It fostered a different relationship with dreams. They believed dreams from the Primus Somnus were often rooted in the day's anxieties, while dreams from the approaching Secundus Somnus, or second sleep, were more prophetic, more divine. Socially, it was a time for quiet intimacy between couples, for hushed conversations that couldn't be had during the bustling day. It was a recognized and respected part of the rhythm of life, the rhythm we have brutally erased. So what happened? Why don't we sleep like the Romans? The answer is twofold: street lamps and the Industrial Revolution. Artificial light conquered the night, and factories demanded a new kind of rigid, consolidated efficiency from their workers. We forced our ancient biology to conform to the relentless schedule of a machine. We traded our natural, segmented sleep for the artificial goal of a single, monolithic block. So the next time you find yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, your mind racing, and you start to worry that you have insomnia, take a deep breath and remember the Romans. You are not broken. You are not sick. You are simply hearing a faint, biological echo of how your ancestors slept for thousands of years. Your body is remembering a forgotten world, the world of the first sleep. Perhaps the real question isn't why we sometimes wake up at night, but why we ever forced ourselves to stop.